Good day, everyone. I am Enrico Medina, and I will be presenting my study entitled Development and Validation of Discovery-Based Modules in Teaching Chemistry. The outbreak of the COVID-19 global pandemic impacted negatively on people's lives all around the world. The educational paradigm shift in the teaching and learning process is necessary for transitioning and transforming traditional face-to-face to the new normal education. The use of self-instructional learning module has been utilized purposefully in shifting to flexible learning amid the pandemic. From the study of Geta and Henier, it reveals the challenges of the use of instructional modules by the students, such as the following. 1. Module contents are hard to understand and lengthy. 2nd, self-procrastination in reading and answering the module. 3. Gadget distraction at home. And lastly, less interaction with peers and teachers to develop interest and encouragement. In connection to this research aims to design and develop self-instructional modules in chemistry that hope to defy all the presented challenges observed by using an approach. This research uses discovery learning as an approach in developing the self-instructional module. The use of discovery learning as a model can help the learners achieve active learning, acquire knowledge, and build scientific concepts that learners discover themselves. Hence, inquiry-based learning is an approach to educating and inspiring learners rather than memorizing facts or learning passively from the teachers. In this manner, the learner can construct their understanding and knowledge. The constructivist approach demands students to construct their own meaning from their own learning experiences. There are several published related articles on the validity and practicality of modules, particularly in teaching chemistry that uses a discovery learning as an approach. However, they are focused solely in the K-12 education programs. There is no online research on the development and validation of discovery-based modules in teaching chemistry that can be used in a higher educational institution in the present module distance learning, in particular to the BS Criminology program. The General Chemistry Organic course allows the criminology student to study the general concept of chemistry with particular attention to criminal investigation, which are vital for criminology students in crime scene processing and forensic science in investigating and detecting crime, as they will apply the knowledge, skills, scientific attitudes, and values learned from undertaking the course. The study's rationale is to develop and validate the module based on the discovery learning approach. The figures on the slide present the schematic diagram of the study. This illustrates the analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation, or ADI model as a schematic diagram of the study. The series of steps in the model has been modified and customized to suit the nature of designing and developing instructional learning modules in chemistry. For the objectives of the study primarily aims to develop and validate the discovery-based modules in chemistry for criminology students. Specifically, this sought to answer the following question. 1. What is the validity of the discovery-based modules in chemistry as evaluated by the teacher experts based on objectives, content, format and language, presentation, and usefulness? Number 2. What is the validity of the discovery-based modules in chemistry as evaluated by the student users based on format and content? Number 3, what are comments and suggestions of the teacher experts on the discovery-based modules in chemistry based on cover page, overview, pretest, safety precautions, advanced preparations, review, activity proper, post-activity discussion, post-test application, and reference? Number 4, what are student users' feedback on the discovery-based modules in chemistry? And lastly, based on the findings of the study, how can the discovery-based modules in chemistry be revised? For the research methods, the research design of the study has utilized a descriptive developmental research design as it focuses on developing instructional material in the form of a discovery-based modules in chemistry. For the research environment, the development of modules in chemistry has been developed in one private higher education institution in Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay that offers a BS Criminology program. The research participant of the study are the purposefully selected 5 student users who evaluated the modules in terms of the format and content aspects. They are criminology students taking the General Chemistry Organic course during the second semester period in the academic year 2021-2022. The study's research validators are the 5 teacher experts who are purposefully selected and are composed of 2 public and 3 private teachers or instructors in higher education institutions who have been teaching various chemistry courses for at least 3 years and have attended several on-site or virtual seminars and training workshops on module making. For the sampling techniques, a non-probability purposive sampling was utilized in selecting the 5 teacher experts from the various colleges and universities across the country and 5 student users from one higher educational institution in Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay who met the criteria. The research instruments employed in the study are the validation forms for teacher experts, evaluation form for student users in the development and validation of discovery-based modules in chemistry that was cited from a study by Tori Franca as adapted from Marine 2003 and Manasigan 2003, which generates the rating scale and descriptive interpretation as shown in the slide. Lastly, the validated interview guide questions to seek student users' feedback on the modules. The data gathering process has involved the following activities, which have been done correctly in a subsequent manner. In analysis phase, the chemistry instructors in the criminology program identified the least learned general organic chemistry concepts through an interview as the basis for developing the discovery-based modules in chemistry. The researcher then purposefully selected the least learned general organic chemistry concepts from the feedback of the chemistry instructors. The researcher then identified the titles of the two developed modules. One is Structure of Organic Molecules, Use of Marshmallow Model, and second, Organic Functional Groups, that was based on the least learned general chemistry organic concepts. In the design phase, the researcher has identified the format of the discovery-based modules in chemistry as adapted from the published self-learning module in chemistry by the University of the Philippines National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development. In developmental phase, the researcher designed and developed the first draft of the two modules. The first draft of the modules underwent presentation and consultation with the chemists, chemistry teachers, criminology teachers, and students, colleagues, and module experts to let the developed discovery-based modules be revised initially before the final validation. In implementation phase, the developed discovery-based module was presented to the 5 teacher experts. The validation process was carried out subsequently to cater the teacher experts' comments, suggestions, and recommendations before presenting to the next teacher experts. After the researcher had revised the chemistry modules, it was printed out and presented the revised discovery-based chemistry modules to the intended student users. After the student users performed and answered all the discoveries, learning activities, and guide questions on the modules, the researcher then collected their output and checked, then provided the student user with the evaluation form and conducted an interview at their most convenient time. In evaluation phase, the modules were enhanced after the completion of the validation and evaluation feedback forms of the teacher experts and student users respectively. On the other hand, thematic analysis was used appropriately to analyze the interview transcripts to present the student user feedback on the discovery-based modules developed. The data obtained from the validation and evaluation of discovery-based modules from the teacher experts and student users were treated statistically using numerical and descriptive statistics like weighted mean to measure the central tendencies using MXL and SPSS. Thus, the student users' feedback was analyzed using thematic analysis to extract the themes from familiarization with the interview transcripts, generated codes searching for the themes, reviewing the themes, identifying the themes, and interpretations of the themes that emerge. With regard to the objective about the validity of the discovery-based modules in chemistry as evaluated by the teacher experts based on objectives, content, format and language, presentation, and usefulness aspects, the following results are presented. As reflected in the first table, the overall validation results of the discovery-based module 1 have obtained an excellent remark by the teacher experts. Similar remarks as excellent material were observed from the average validation ratings of the teacher experts on the individual aspects of the first module as to the objectives, content, format and language, presentation, and usefulness of the developed materials. In addition, the second discovery-based module in chemistry and the second table was observed to be excellent as validated by the teacher experts. The same remarks were obtained on the module aspect as to the objectives, content, format and language, presentation, and usefulness. With regard to the objective about the validity of the discovery-based modules in chemistry as evaluated by the student users based on format and content aspects, the following results are presented. As reflected in the third table, the evaluation results of the student users on the Module 1 obtained an excellent remarks by the student users evaluator. The same finding remarks as excellent were observed for the evaluation ratings of the student users on the aspect of the module as to the format and content of the developed materials. Meanwhile, the Module 2 obtained an excellent remark from the student user's evaluation as shown on the fourth table. The same finding remarks as excellent were observed for the evaluation ratings on the aspects of the discovery's Module 2 as to the format and content of the developed materials. With regards to the comments and suggestions of the teacher experts made on the key parts of the modules, the following findings are presented. The usage of the General Organic Chemistry course description obtained from the CHED Memorandum Order Number 21 series of 2005 and the correct descriptive meaning of PDEA as Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Some organic chemistry terminologies were not highlighted, which can lead to student confusion. No structural formula has been provided in certain parts of the module, and the table of content were not adjusted. Few statements need to be changed for both modules and must be consulted by a language expert. Lastly, the two modules were very comprehensive, easy to navigate, and clearly guided the learners in discovering the concepts in very organized manner, which is highly recommended to be used for the intended user. Based on the interview feedback of the student users in utilizing the Discovery-based modules, revealed four emerging themes which are interactive, well-designed, outcome-based, and discovery-based. Lastly, the following figures presented contain how the Discovery-based modules have been revised based on the comments and suggestions of the teacher experts to the Discovery-based modules as highlighted in yellow. In addition, the five student users have not suggested any recommendations for revision on the two modules based on the student users' evaluation results and feedback during the interview. To conclude the study, based on the results findings, the developed modules in chemistry on the structure of organic molecules and organic functional groups are highly valid, usable, and acceptable as validated by the five teacher experts in terms of objectives, contents, format and language, presentation, and usefulness aspects, and evaluated by the five student users in terms of format and content. As for the recommendations, first, chemistry teachers in a criminology program in a higher education institution may consider validating and utilizing the revised discovery-based modules in chemistry with their students to further execute its validity and effectiveness in the present modular learning modality. Next, criminology students from other colleges and universities may utilize and evaluate the revised discovery-based chemistry modules in learning general organic chemistry to determine other student users' evaluation and feedback of the developed chemistry modules. Lastly, further studies are suggested to chemistry teachers to design and develop discovery-based module to undertake other least learned general organic chemistry concepts to engage students in the learning process as they continue their learning pursuits in the present modular learning modality. That is all for my presentation, and thank you for listening.